Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to the worldwide family. Praises to the Most High. About to get this started. Y'all know how we do it. Women uncover their head, men uncover their head when praying to prophesy within the assembly. Huh?
Yes,
Both uncover, my apologies. Women ought to cover their heads, and men ought to uncover their heads when praying to prophesying within the assembly. You know, we turn to the east facing Holy Jerusalem. We lift our hands up to the Most High. Ariel gonna read a song.
Yes, sir.
Long live the King.
Long live the King. All right, family, we're going to get this opening prayer. And it's with the Most High's permission. And in the name of His only begotten and beloved Son, our Lord and Savior, and our Redeemer, Yahushua HaMashiach. And we know Him as Jesus the Christ, family. Long live the King. Long live the King. Reading in the book of Psalms. In the 20th chapter it reads, "The Most High hear thee in the day of trouble. The name of the Elohim of Jacob defend thee. Send thee help from the sanctuary, and strengthen thee out of Zion. Remember all thy offerings, and accept thy burnt offering. Selah. Selah. Grant thee according to thine own heart, and fulfill all thy counsel. We will rejoice in the salvation, and in the name of our Elohim we will set up our banners. The Most High fulfill all thy petitions. Now know I that the Most High saves his anointed. He will hear him from his holy heaven with the saving strength of his right hand. Some trust in chariots, and some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Most High our power. They are brought down and fallen, but we are risen and stand upright. Save the Most High. Let the King hear us when we call. Hallelujah! Say God! Short and sweet. Right.
Everybody doing out there? All praise to the Most High.
Yes, sir.
Anybody got any questions or anything on your heart and mind before we get started? Judas, you got anything on your heart, mind, soul? I'm just messing with you. Tuba, we got anything out there?
No, sir. All right, what's up?
All right, then we're gonna go ahead and get started. Y'all see the title? The title of the class today is, and I literally just came up with the title when I got to class, but it's called Earth Without Form, and Void. Without Form and Void.
Yeah, I'm just hearing it too.
My bad. And the reason that I titled it Without Form and Void was because today we're gonna look at what you'll hear pastors and preachers and most people that study the Bible call the gap theory. And the gap theory is what they say is between Genesis 1:1 and Genesis chapter 1 verse 2, there's a gap or a period of time that has been missing. You know, we're gonna get into that today because look, you gotta account for things like, Neanderthals, dinosaurs. You know what I'm saying? They just found in, I believe it was Siberia. They talking about a woolly mammoth that was fully preserved in ice. Those don't exist no more, and those was never recorded as getting on to the ark. You know, so today we're gonna talk about things like that. You know what I'm saying, and get in, into some stuff like that, and Most High willing, unlock a couple mysteries. So without further ado, y'all, we're gonna turn to Genesis chapter 1 and get to it and see why the earth was without form and void. A matter of fact, you know what? First, let's start off in Isaiah 45. Zeb, that's why I don't send you scriptures, man, because I'm liable to jump. And
You always say you're gonna send me the scripture, though.
I know, shoot, I just write down what I need and shoot, I look at it when I get to class, it just be like, shoot, go here.
Before you start to
We just gonna hit verse 18, y'all. Just verse 18, and then we going to Genesis chapter 1, because I want to make a point first.
Isaiah, say it again.
No, Isaiah 45, verse 18.
Just one verse.
Yes, sir. Just one verse. Everybody there? Oh no, we still got some pages flipping. Like, while we looking for that, too bad we ain't had nobody, any prayer requests, did we?
So hold on, say it again.
No prayer requests or nothing like that, did we?
Actually, yeah, WithOut said, I continually, for y'all, well, I basically she's saying, I continually pray for y'all. Please pray for me as well. All praise to the Most High, one love.
All praises.
Can we read that verse 19 too?
Yes, man, we surely can.
All right, we're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, and we'll start the reading in verse 18. And it reads, For thus saith the Most High, that created the heaven.
He created the what?
The heaven. Yah himself that formed the earth and made it.
So notice it's saying the Most High created both the heavens and the earth. Come on.
He hath established it.
He did what?
He established it. He created it not in vain.
Created it not in what?
In vain.
Meaning he didn't create it worthless or without a purpose. He had a purpose for the earth. So the Most High doesn't create vain. He didn't create the earth to be vain. Come on.
He formed it.
He
to
did
be
what?
He formed it to be inhabited.
See that he formed it to be inhabited, mean lived upon.
Right.
Come on.
I am the Most High, and there is none else. I have not spoken in secret.
He has not spoken in what?
In secret, in a dark place of the earth.
See, because the Most High don't hide no. It's nobody he has to be afraid of to speak in the secret place. He'll tell you to your face. He told you, I'll repay you to your face. What I gotta say something in the secret, you know what I'm saying? Like the Most High, like Christ told him, what I tell you, you shout it on the rooftops. Come on.
I said not unto the seed of Jacob, seek ye me in vain.
Seek me in what?
In vain.
If you seeking the Most High in vain, that means there's no point to your seeking. You wasting your time. Just like if he created the earth, it would have just been a waste of time if he created it in vain. Because it serves no purpose. Come on.
I, the Most High, speak righteousness.
He speak what?
Righteousness. I declare things that are right.
And this all according to the law. Righteousness and right, that depends on what side of the law you on. You on the right side of the law or you on the wrong side of the law. And if you on the wrong side of the law, that means you eating from the tree of good and evil, because at that point you know how to do evil. Which the Most High didn't create, but it was only created in the sense that when you break the law, evil comes into play. Where we at? We finished with that verse? All right, so now we're gonna go to Genesis 1, y'all, and really see what was going on. Because remember, the Most High said that he does not create things to be vain, or create things to be vain, but he created the earth to be inhabited.
All right, family, we're going to the book of Genesis. Reading in chapter 1. I'm going to start at verse 1. Everybody there? Let's get some understanding, family. In the beginning, Yah created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep.
So notice that, y'all. It said, and the earth was without form. and void. When you look up this word form, it comes from the Hebrew word H8414. Write it down. It's called tohu. It's called tohu. It means to lie waste, desolation, or a worthless thing. It says the earth became this, or was without form and void. When you look up the word was, it means to become. You know what I'm saying? So the earth was without form and void. But remember the scripture we just read before, they said the Lord doesn't make that. So something had to happen. Something had to happen in order for the earth to become without form and void. Uninhabitable. Because when you look up the word vain, it means waste. Undistinguishable ruin. Come on, let's keep reading.
And the Spirit of Yah moved upon the face of the water. And Yah said, let there be light. And there was light. And Yah saw the light, that it was good. And Yah divided the light from the darkness. And Yah called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
What the what?
Were the first day.
Was the first day. Come on.
And Yah said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the water.
Matter of fact, look, I want you to drop down. Y'all can read that on y'all own time, but that's just, you know what I'm saying, the days of creation. You know what I'm saying, what he made on each day and the order in which he made it in. But I want to jump down to verse 26.
Verse 26. And Yah said, let us make man in our image.
In our what?
In our image. After our likeness. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
So understand, you know what I'm saying, you'll run across a lot of people in person or on Facebook or on any type of social media platform that believe in two creation stories. You know what I'm saying? This one creation story in Genesis chapter 1, but in Genesis chapter 2, that's a whole nother set of people being created. You know what I'm saying? Most people will run and say this first creation was like the cavemen and stuff like that. But the only problem we have here is that a caveman, if we're going to run with that logic, a caveman was given dominion over the whole earth. You know what they say a caveman is? You know what I'm saying? A senseless, you know what I'm saying, person. What you got back there, my brother?
If you, dominion, one of the definitions of dominion is supreme authority.
Absolutely.
And government. Ain't no caveman have no supreme authority. This was from the Most High. So that's like that word dominion. If we take one word, it'll change the whole text. Now you can read this text and say, God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, let him have supreme authority over the fish of the sea, over the fowls of the earth, and the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeping on earth. It changes the whole text when you do that. So sometimes we have to look up the words if you don't understand and see the meaning of it.
Yeah, and you hear that said all the time. If you reading the scripture and you know what I'm saying, you skip and you come into a word that you don't know and you just skip over it and keep going to the next verse, you'll never get the understanding because you just missed something. You just missed something important. So yeah, you're absolutely right, brother. You're absolutely right. But yeah, you know, like I was saying, you'll run into people that, you know what I'm saying, believe this type of stuff that, you know, Genesis chapter 1 was talking about a caveman. But like I was saying, the only problem they gonna have is that a caveman was given rulership over everything on earth as well as the earth. You know what I'm saying? Come on, let's keep reading.
Verse 27. So Yah created man in his own image. In the image of Yah created he him. Male and female created he them. And Yah blessed them. And Yah said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth.
And he said, and do what?
Replenish the earth.
And that's the key word in this whole verse is to replenish, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because when you understand replenish, it means to like refill.
Right.
It's a refill. So the question would be, if God is just now making the earth, You know what I'm saying? This him making the earth at the very beginning. How can that be if he telling Adam and Eve to replenish? What was there for them to replenish? Or for him to use that word replenish? Meaning that it had to be something here before Adam and Eve in order for him to tell him to refill it. Like if I drunk all of this juice, right, and I asked Tuba, do you mind replenishing or refilling my cup? Something was already there. Come on.
And subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And Yah said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And he did give us, you know what I'm saying, the fruits and the and the green herbs for food. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't the type of eating that got us kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Out of the garden. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that type of eating. So anytime you letting somebody take your mind away from man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God.
That's right.
That's how a man lives. That's your substance.
That's right.
That's what's gonna keep your spirit alive for everlasting. This flesh got to die. The flesh has to die.
That's right.
Can't enter the kingdom.
So if you put more emphasis on the flesh than you are the spirit, you're doing a great disservice. Let's keep rolling.
Verse 30. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And Yah saw everything that he had made, and beheld, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day.
All right, y'all. So I want to drop that and then go to Jeremiah chapter 4. Jeremiah chapter 4, verses 23 through 28.
Man, I was going to go in on that 30, but it's cool. We'll move on because we'll deal with that a different. That's on that meat thing where, you know, every green herb. Right. We're not going to worry about that one today.
Yeah.
We'll just run with what you got going on. Where you want to go to next, huh?
Jeremiah 4. Jeremiah chapter 4, yeah, verse 23. Right, I guess we just, okay, stay on the topic then.
Yeah, because, right. Foolishness, tomfoolery.
Yeah, it is, man. It is.
Keep it going.
Just addressing what it is. Jeremiah 4 and what?
Yeah, Jeremiah chapter 4, y'all. We're going to continue to see 23 through 26.
Yeah. All right, family, we're in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4 and verse 23. I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form.
It was what?
It was without form. And void.
And what else it was?
Void.
So look, Jeremiah, he's saying the only time the earth was without form and void was when? In Genesis chapter 1.
Right.
He's saying that Jeremiah is saying, I beheld the earth, and it was without form and it was without void. It was a desolate ruin. It had been destroyed. A catastrophe had happened that wiped the earth clean. And scientists know about this stuff. They talk about it. And every religious culture out there, they talk about a time when a great catastrophe came up on the earth. But look, they just don't want to give the credit to the Most High. Scientists know this. You know what I'm saying? Every culture in the world know it. You know what I'm saying? That's how you come up with things like, you know what I'm saying, the bones of Neanderthals or the bones of dinosaurs, which Job get into because he talk about, Leviathan and Bohemian.
So in other words, the Most High wiped this out more than one time.
Yeah. Like, look, think about it. Why would he tell Adam and Eve to replenish the earth then?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Why would he tell them that? Look, and not even only that, but matter of fact, hold that right quick and get Genesis 9, because after he did what he did with Noah, he told Noah the same exact thing. He gave Noah the same exact instructions, but the difference was, at that point, he said you could eat meat. Or he gave a different meat diet. He said all flesh you can consume, just without the blood.
Where is chapter 9?
Starting in verse 1. Genesis chapter 9, verse 1.
Genesis chapter 9, verse 1.
And shoot, this right after the flood. Right after the Lord just flooded the earth. He just really just wiped it clean. Noah just found grace. Noah just found grace because he was just. So the Most High was like, shoot, you were just. I ain't gonna wipe you out with the wicked. You know what I'm saying? You can go on, you know what I'm saying? Build the ark. And you and your household to be saved, and all the animals that I choose. Alright, where you at? Genesis chapter 9, verse 1.
Chapter 9, verse 1. And Yahweh blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth.
He said the same thing to Adam, didn't he? The same exact words that he just said to Noah, he said to Adam. He said replenish, and we know for a fact Adam then was before Noah's flood. Enoch, Methuselah was all before the flood. But it's evidence that something was here, and it's the same thing with the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? It's there, you know what I'm saying? You just got to know how to get the understanding, or ask for it with belief, I should say. You know what I'm saying? Because the Bible will account for all things. You know, I remember I used to watch YouTube videos and people will straight ask you this type of question. Well, do the Bible talk about dinosaurs? Yes. Well, what do the Bible say about this? Or what, you know what I'm saying? You would just see the Bible talks about, you know what I'm saying? Even when you get into the heavens, the Bible talk about events or certain celestial anomalies that exist that scientists are puzzled at. Like when we talk about a little later on, when we start talking about what happened in the heavens. You know what I'm saying? Like the asteroid belt. Like this puzzle science, man, they're throwing for the loop, but the Bible tell you what it is already. But where we at?
Verse 2. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea, until your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, even as the green herb, and I give you all things.
Some things.
All things.
Just the things I like.
All things.
Okay.
But flesh is the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat.
Look, the only thing the Most High told you not to eat at this point was what was unclean, and the blood.
Right.
And the blood. Otherwise, look, how Noah gonna know the difference between clean and unclean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you just believe it's tampered with, then that's your problem. What you got?
Why do the Edomites like raw steak?
I don't know. You know what? I work with some. I can ask.
This ain't they book.
Some of this ain't they book. Some of them call Edomites be cavemen though. You gotta understand, they like blood.
This ain't they book.
Everybody ain't the same.
But you know what's funny, our real talk is they discount the Bible. They don't read all the books of the Bible. They say they read the law, which is contained in the first 5 books of the Bible, which we are in the law right now, which they say they read, but I guess they missed this part.
It ain't they book.
Well, we know that, but they are Hebrew Edomites, but they like, you know, they the hunter-gatherers, they eat eat that raw meat, but the Most High tell us we're not supposed to eat it. They see it, but they don't pay attention to that part. It's not for them. Why is that said? It's not their book. Okay.
Oh yeah, we just got a little announcement that we was just told, you know what I'm saying, when we coming in and out, just make sure we wear our masks, y'all. Right. You know, let's be let's respect their wishes, y'all. So
Oh yeah.
I forgot mine today, so.
Me too. So
It's a box down.
Yeah, it's a boxing match.
oh, man, there's a box of masks right here, everybody. So that's cool. That's all praise to the Most High. Alright, where we was at?
I don't know.
Me neither.
Verse 4. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, ye shall not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it. And at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by the man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of Yahweh made he man. And you, be ye fruitful and multiply. Bring forth abundantly in the earth and multiply therein.
Oh, praise. This is all I wanted from that, though. Just to show y'all that Noah, after the earth was destroyed, and you know what I'm saying, in similar manner, he was told, he was given the same instructions to be fruitful and to multiply as Adam and Eve were. To be fruitful, to multiply, and to replenish the earth. Now going back to Jeremiah chapter 4.
All right, we're back in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, and we'll read verse 23 again. I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void, and the heavens, and they had no light.
And they had no what?
No light.
And that's why it was dark, y'all. Because look, anytime that the Most High, anytime he talking about entering into judgment, it always speaks about the lights, or the day of the Lord, I should say, the lights in the heavens being put out. It always talk about it. And the sun and the moon shall not give their lights. You know what I'm saying? Every time it's talking about judgment. And notice this what he telling you what happened when the earth was without form and without void. Come on.
Verse 24. I beheld the mountain.
I beheld the what?
The mountain. And lo, they trembled. And all the hills moved lightly.
So he's saying the earth being shook. The earth being shook. Because the mountains are trembled. You know, when you trembling, you shaking.
Right.
You shaking and the hills moving lightly. Like an earthquake or something. Come on.
Verse 25. I beheld, and lo, there was no man.
There was no what?
No man.
Remember, he talking about what happened in the beginning. He's saying he looking and he ain't see no man, but he see the mountains trembling. He see the hills moving. He's saying that it was no lights in the heavens. Come on.
And all the birds of the heavens.
And all the birds of what?
Of the heavens were fled.
Were what?
Were fled. I beheld, and lo, the fruitful place was a wilderness.
The fruitful place was a what?
A wilderness.
A wilderness. That's what tohu and bohu is, or without form and void. That's what that is. That's a wilderness. Can't nothing live there. It's desolate, it's destroyed, it's ruined.
No life.
It's no life. Life cannot inhabit this. It's like trying to put a fish into some filthy water, or you know what I'm saying, put it into some oil and thinking it's gonna survive. That's not habitable for that fish. Come on. But notice he said, I seen the fruitful place had become a wilderness. My bad.
And all the cities
And
thereof.
all the what?
All the cities thereof.
All the cities thereof. So Jeremiah, he even seeing cities. But he ain't see no man, he seen birds. Come on.
Were broken down at the presence of the Most High.
Were broken down at the presence of who?
The Most High.
Could this have been the day of the Lord before Adam and Eve?
The city's gone.
The city's gone, the man is gone.
Man gone. The city's gone.
Broken down.
Mountains are shaking.
I'm talking about straight shaking. Just imagine the earthquake came through here. Everything would be shaking or moving back and forth or trembling. And that's what he get into when he says the day of the Lord. He talk about the heavens gonna shake. When he come back the second time, he say they gonna be what? Destroyed with fire? Mm-hmm. So if he did it, I mean, if he talking about doing it in the future, what make you think he ain't did it in the past?
Right.
Right. So why is it the second time? It might be the fourth time.
We don't know. I just know it was one before Adam and Eve. You know what I'm saying? Just going to show you, man, that the Bible accounts for all things. All things. And then look, think about it. When they get into talking about the heavens and the earth, even the scientists telling you they what? The universe about 14 point something billion years old, and the earth about 4.5 billion years old. When you start looking at this type of stuff, it'd be like, well, it ain't too far of a, to imagine it. Not saying that they right, but I mean, cause really, who can tell how old the universe is?
Apparently, they can look at rocks and don't know exactly how many years it goes back.
But look, that's so funny. That's what.
Sprinkle a little dust on it and it magically appears.
But
1 million years.
Exactly. But look, they just only guessing though.
Exactly.
And look, and what Zeb said was true, because how they determine how old the Earth was by the oldest rock that they can carbon date.
And that's called a hypothesis, right? Which is
Yeah.
educated
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Mm-hmm. What you got, Ed?
Quarter, baby, it's only 10,000 years.
Only 10,000 years? Maybe, man. Maybe. Sure.
Like, make it up in that order.
I don't know, but it really make you think, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when the Most High say, I'm the Ancient of Days, man, he talking about to Genesis 1. When it says in the evening, in the morning, with the first day, he's ancient to that.
Right.
That was only like 6,000 to 12,000 years ago. But look, when you read that Genesis chapter 1, you start seeing, like, man, it's certain stuff that's there and that ain't there, that, you know what I'm saying, when you start looking at, because I don't want to get a class away, you know what I'm saying, you start seeing, like, okay, something was here, and you know what I'm saying, this do make sense. But let's just keep reading before I start spilling the beans.
Well, at the end of that 26, and all the cities thereof were broken down at the presence of the Most High, and by his fierce anger.
All right, okay, so check it out. Now I want to go to 2 Peter chapter 3. Well, you just sounded like you're following me, man.
That sound like I knew that was coming.
Oh, you did?
Yes, sir.
I should have threw a twist in that. Huh?
What was on?
2 Peter chapter 3.
2 Peter chapter 3. 1 through 5.
Second Peter chapter 3, verse 1. This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance.
By way of what? And what kind of mind?
Pure mind.
Your pure mind, I stir it up. Or I'm trying to make you remember, recall some stuff.
Pure mind.
Your pure mind by the way of remembrance. But what is that to remember? Come on.
That ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophet, and of the commandment of us, the apostles of the Most High and Savior, Knowing this first.
Knowing this what?
Knowing this first.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt come in the last days. Scoffers.
What type of people?
Scoffers.
That turn their nose up at the Bible.
Walking after their own lust.
After they what?
Own lust.
Uh-huh, come on.
And saying, where is the promise of his coming?
And they not asking this sincerely. You know they trying to be funny.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, where your God is. Everything has been going on like it's been going on since the beginning of time. Come on.
Where is the presence of his coming?
The promise of his coming, because he been promising it forever. He been promising it forever. You'll hear, like, you know what I'm saying, people that hate the Bible say that stuff. Oh, where your Jesus at?
You still waiting on that guy to come?
Yeah, you still waiting on your Sky Daddy and stuff like this.
You
Come on.
waiting on that check?
Yeah. You silly. But yeah.
Watch. For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation.
So you see that? They saying all things continued as they were from the beginning of creation. Ain't nothing changed. Everything the same. Come on.
Verse 5. For this they willingly are ignorant of.
Willingly or ignorant of. Come on.
That by the word of Yahweh, the heavens were of old.
The heavens were what?
Of old. And the earth standing out of the water and in the water.
Look, he talking about the heavens were the old. He's saying the earth was standing in the water and out of the water. This only happened 2 times. Once in Genesis chapter 1 and then again in Genesis chapter what was that, like 5 through 8, 9 with Noah. That's the only time the earth was standing in the water and out of the water, because it was flooded. Come on.
Verse 6. Whereby the world that was then.
By the world that was what?
The world that then was.
That then was. And notice he can only be talking about 2 times. You know what I'm saying? If you saying this Noah, you're going to have some problems. You're going to have some problems if you saying he talking about Noah's flood. Come on.
Whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished.
With water perished. It was flooded. Come on.
But the heavens and the earth which are now.
Which are what?
Which are now.
Notice, look, he keep talking about then and now, using words like then and now. He said, but the heavens that are now, come on.
By the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men.
So understand what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? The flood before Adam and Eve was destroyed. And in the flood of Noah, we still under those same heavens. We still under those same heavens, but he's saying the heavens that are now are reserved for what? For fire. Come on. Matter of fact, read that 6 again for me.
Whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished.
Meaning it was completely destroyed. No traces of it, but bones. Come on.
For the heavens and the earth which are now.
But the ones that are now, the ones that we were under right now, come on.
By the same word are kept in store.
Or kept in store or reserved for. Come on.
Reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Most High as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day.
So look, he telling them this what the scoffers ignorant of. You know what I'm saying? The Most High don't keep time like we keep time.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So what might appear to be a long time to you might just be a couple days to the Most High.
Actually, your life ain't even a day.
It's just a smoke. It's just a vapor.
Your life ain't even a day. You don't even live 24 hours.
And look, start understanding what that's meaning. You know what I'm saying? Understand what that means. That means that, you know, come on, 5,000 to 6,000 years ain't nothing before the Most High. That ain't nothing. That ain't even right. That ain't nothing before him. How ancient is he for real?
Right. Ancient of days.
The ancient of days. And look, let's see how ancient the earth is though, or how old the earth really is. Is it really? Could it really be 5,000 to 6,000 years old? I mean 6 to 12,000 years old, or could it be older? I want y'all to think about Genesis again when he was going through and he was making it. Was he making it, or was he just remaking it? And we finna see though how he was remaking it. Let's get that. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 8. Because when you look at that Genesis chapter 1, certain things was already here. Like water was already here. You know, the earth was already here.
I got a question. If the world is millions of years old, within the millions of years, why they just come up with toilets 3,000 years ago? We been sitting in the ground for millions of years, but for the last 3,000 years, we came up with plumbing. Come on, man.
You can't believe nothing out their mouths. Come on. Nothing.
Proverbs what?
Chapter 8, verse 22.
8:22. And you notice is when you dig in the ground, you got to get to the foundation. Now notice something. They only let you dig so far, and if you go beyond that point, you will find problems. So this is just my terminology. So in actuality, you live on a big grave, though. Because the dig you dig, you will find something. That's a law.
Mm-hmm.
When they did this police station down on Jefferson, they found bones. When they did Vashon High School, they found bones and like a distillery. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's amazing. And when they found that across on Jefferson, that St. Catholic Church, it was like a graveyard there.
I ain't know that. What we at, Hebrew?
My birthday.
Yeah, probably something.
8:22.
Yeah, 8:22. Oh, matter of fact, you know what? My bad. It's just one quick scripture. Can you go to Psalms 102 and 25? You can stay right there if you. Yeah.
I took it that you were talking.
Psalms 102 and 25.
Yeah, Psalms 102 and 25. Yeah.
I see why you didn't get Zeb your notes.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I think.
He be joning on you by now, boy.
Mm-hmm. So
What you joking, man? What you talking about?
Okay.
I don't make jokes.
All right, family, we're in the book of Psalms, chapter 102 and verse 25.
mm-hmm.
02. And it reads, Of old hast thou laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the work of thy hands.
So see, look, anytime you start reading words like old, like he say Tophet is of old, you know what I'm saying? He's speaking on, old to you, not old to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? 6 to 12,000 years, that's old to us. You know what I'm saying? But that's not old to the Most High. When he say of old, who laid the foundations of the earth? The Most High. He said when you laid of old, you have laid the foundations of the earth. When you read Genesis chapter 1, the foundations of the earth wasn't being laid. The earth was already.
Foundation is there.
The foundations was already there.
It's void.
It was just void. It's like, you know what I'm saying, if you burn down a house or something, but the foundation is still intact. And you just rebuild another house on top of the foundation.
Well, it'd be a blow because you got a foundation. Earth, right?
Not necessarily in the foundation like a solid place, because the scriptures tell you the earth hangeth on nothing. You hear what I'm saying?
He not saying you got a cornerstone.
Yeah, but then,
Cornerstone got corners.
not necessarily, because the scriptures tell you
We don't of the earth, but the earth's supposed to be round.
don't round the corners of your head. But ain't nobody in here a blockhead though. You hear me?
Yeah.
Or it say put the fringes on the four corners of your garment. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, when
You
you
got a square body
yeah, that's what I'm. Do you got a square head?
or block body? Block head, block body.
No, man. So it got to be saying something else when it's talking about the corners.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You just got to look a little deeper into it.
But the cornerstone is heavy. You gotta have a corner. Basically, you know what I'm saying?
All right, where we at? Proverbs chapter 22.
No, Proverbs chapter 8.
Proverbs, my bad, chapter 8, verse 22.
Proverbs chapter 8, verse 22. The Elohim possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old.
And this wisdom talking. And she telling you the Lord possessed me in the beginning, before his works of old. Come on.
I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was.
And look, she going back to when the earth was first was. She said, I was there before the earth ever was. So she seen the earth being created. But that ain't no surprise, because the book of Proverbs, when you read about wisdom, it say wisdom and understanding was in on the creation of the earth. Come on.
I was set up from everlasting and from the beginning, or ever was the earth was. When there was no depth.
When there was no what?
When there was no depth.
And that's what a C said. He said when there was no depths. Come on.
I was brought forth.
I was brought forth. Come on.
When there were no fountains abounding with water. Before the mountains were settled.
Before the mountains was what?
Settled. Before the hills was, I brought forth.
Come on.
While as yet he had not made the earth.
He had not what?
Made the earth.
So look, she taking us back to a time when the earth wasn't even made. She letting you know I was there. Come on, I can tell you what it was before the earth ever existed. Come on.
While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth. When he established the clouds above. When he strengthened the fountains of the deep. When he gave to the sea his decree, that the waters should not pass his commandment. When he appointed the fountains of the earth.
The foundation.
The foundation of the earth.
So you see what she telling you? I was there when he appointed the foundations of the earth. This the foundations of the earth right here. She seen it. She was in on the creation. You know what I'm saying? But we seen none of this that she describing in Genesis chapter 1 though. We ain't see none of this. We seen waters already there. From the looks of it, it wasn't where it was supposed to be. Because then that's why he made a firmament and he divided the waters from the waters, and then the earth appeared. And then he started calling stuff. You get what I'm saying? Come on, where we at?
Verse 30. Then I was by him as one brought up with him, and was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the habitable parts of his earth, and my delights were with the sons of men.
All praise. And look, that's all I wanted from there, just to show you that wisdom was there. She saying she seen when the foundations of the earth was appointed, when he gave the sea its bounds and said, "Here, this where you go and no further."
Before the dust.
Before the dust, before the mountains, before the hills. She said she was there. Man we wasn't there. We wasn't even thought of.
You came from the dust.
Right, Adam wasn't even thought of at this point. But she's seeing the creations of the heavens and earth and everything. Letting you know that, man, this thing go back. When it truly say he's the Ancient of Days, that's what it truly means, because we don't know how long did that last before he destroyed it. What you got here, boo?
You said she need wisdom.
Yeah, wisdom, yes. Yes. All right, now I want to go to Job 38. Job 38, 1 through 21. And look, y'all, Job often he talk a lot about the world before Adam and Eve. Job talk a whole lot about it, man. When you see like Bohemian and Leviathan, when you see things like the Pleiades, and you know what I'm saying, Job talk a lot about the world that was before Adam. A lot.
Yeah.
And we finna see one example here. Or a couple examples actually. Alright, whenever y'all ready.
All right, now here come pages. Everybody there?
Job 38, we starting at verse 1.
Verse 1.
Yes, sir.
All right, family, reading in the book of Job, chapter 38. We'll start the reading in verse 1. It reads, Then the Most High answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, Who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge? Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me.
So you see what the Most High saying to Job? He telling him to gird up your loins like a man, meaning put on your big boy drawers, because I'm about to ask you a few questions. And look, and when the Most High asks you a question, is going to show you how really, you know what I'm saying, much you really don't know. Like he asked Ezra a couple questions. Ezra was asked in the book of Ezra, do you really think you can understand the mind of the Most High? And he was like, yeah. He was like, okay, well, I've been sent forth to show you a couple things. And he was asking them, number the grain of sands on the sea, at the beach for me. The number of the grain of sands. How many of them is it? Or he said, how many springs are in the deep? Or weigh me the weight of fire. Or call me yesterday back today.
Show me the image of a voice.
Show me the image of a voice. So look, you know he's finna ask Job a question that you can't answer. You a man.
Right.
You've been around, but your life is like literally like that smoke. It's here for a second and then it's gone. But then it's like that to the Most High, because 1,000 years to us is just one day. It's just one day to him. Come on. Watch what he asked Job, man. Trip off the questions that he asked Job. Come on.
Verse 4. Where was thou when I laid the foundations of the earth?
Question. What was you when I laid it? Matter of fact, even if you asked him how far back did you make it? You know what I'm saying? We couldn't even answer that. Because like I was saying earlier, the only reason they say the earth is 4.5 billion years old is based off a rock that they found. That ain't telling you nothing about the earth and its foundations. So he asked Job, what was thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Look, you wasn't even thought of, because Adam wasn't even thought of. Come on.
Declare if thou hast understanding.
Make it known if you got the understanding. Come on.
Who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest? Or who hath stretched the line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened?
That's a question. He said, where is it fastened? Or what do it hang on? What do it hang? Huh?
You put your tent up, you got to stake it down, don't you? So the wind don't take it away. What's staking the earth down?
That's what he asked him.
What you finna say next, hit it.
But look at the questions that he asked in Job. Trip off of it. Trip off of it. When was the foundations laid? What are they fastened on? Because he don't talk about it in this book, in Genesis chapter 1. Come on.
Do we gotta put the little glow in the dark stickers on the line and hold the earth down like we do when we can? So nobody trip over?
Right.
You can't even see it. You can't even see it. You have no idea where it's at.
Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together.
And look, this what he asking Job, because Job think he knows something. The Most High showing him you really don't know what you think you know. You know what I'm saying? Because he asking them, read it again.
When the morning stars sang together.
When the morning stars sang together. Trip off this, it was only 2 morning stars. It's only 2 morning stars mentioned in the Bible. One is the morning star, and one is the bright and morning star. Lucifer, when we get into this Isaiah 14, and then the Messiah in Revelation 22, it refers to him as the bright and morning star. He asking Job, not only what was you when I laid the foundations of the earth, but what were you when the morning star sang together? When Satan and Christ, before it was a war in heaven, before it was war in heaven, when everything was in harmony, what was you at?
Because when Adam was made, he was already down here.
He was already down here.
He was already here.
And he was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Look, I thought Hashatan was the son of the morning. I ain't know he was a morning star.
You listening to Jay-Z record too. I ain't don't know what to make put that way.
Verse 7 again. When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of Yah shouted for joy.
And look, we got a problem, because if you saying, like you will hear out there, people will say that the sons of God is always referring to men and not angels. But the only problem is we sitting here and we reading about stuff that Job is being asked before Adam. That happened before Adam. He said the morning stars. He said the sons of God, either the sons of God or actual angels, because at this time Adam wasn't even created. So it has to be talking about angels here. When everything was on one accord, y'all, he asking Job, what was you? Before Satan rebelled, or before Lucifer rebelled. Come on.
Verse 8. Or who shut up the sea with doors when it brake forth, as if it had issued out of the womb? When I made the cloud the garment thereof, and thick darkness a swaddling band for it, and break up for it my decree place, and set bars and doors, and said, hitherto shalt thou come, but no further, and here shall thy proud waves be stayed. Hast thou commanded the morning since thy days, and caused the day spring to know its place, that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, that the wicked might be shaken out of it?
Basically, he's telling you, can you control the sun? The morning, when the sun comes out, can you control it? Can you control the sun? Can you control the moon and stuff like this? Or what was you when I did it? When I told the sea, you know what I'm saying? This is your bounds and go no further. It is, man. It is. Come on, let's keep
Verse 14. It is turned as clay to the seal, and they stand as a garment. And from the wicked their light is withholden, and the high arm shall be broken. Hast thou entered into the springs of the sea? Or hast thou walked in the search of the depth? Have the gates of death been opened unto thee? Or hast thou seen the doors of the shadow of death? Hast thou perceived the breadth of the earth? Declare if thou knowest it all. Where is the way where light dwelleth? And as for darkness, where is the place thereof? That thou shouldest take it to the bound thereof, and that thou shouldest know the path to the house thereof. Knowest thou it because thou was then born, or because the number of thy days is great?
The number of thy days is what?
Is great.
So you see that? He telling them, Job, man, you ain't been here nothing but a hot second. The only way you will know these things, man, is if the number of your days is great, like wisdom, man. She said she was with him, and she was in on the creation of the heavens and the earth. And a lot of this stuff, when you start reading deeper into it, a lot of this stuff was stuff that Enoch was saying was in different heavens. Like the chambers of the wind, or you know what I'm saying, the chamber of light and darkness, or you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. A lot of this was when Enoch was being taken into the heavens. Like, yeah, like straight chambers where like snow come from, where rain come from. Rain come from and stuff like that. So look, okay, we could drop that and we go to Genesis chapter 3.
Three and what?
We're gonna start in 1. We're gonna start in 1. Cause now I wanna look at something else, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, we kinda like bypass a lot of, I know I did, you know. Look, Genesis 3.
Shabbat shalom, Iman.
Looking at Satan when he failed. And really put some perspective on it. You know what I'm saying? Because Satan fall just within. I mean, he couldn't have failed within them 6 to 12,000 years that Adam was around. I mean, since Adam. You know what I'm saying? So think about it. When did Satan fall? When did he fall? Come on.
We're reading in the book of Genesis, chapter 3. I'm going to start our reading in verse 1. And it reads, Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Most High Yah had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath Yah said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? Mm-hmm. And the woman said unto the serpent.
Unto the who? Unto
the serpent. We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yah hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for Yah doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. So
you see that? In the third book of the Bible, in the third chapter of the first book of the Bible, man, we already running into somebody we don't even know. It just introduces him as a serpent. It says the serpent. And then it get the, you know what I'm saying, giving you the conversation between the serpent and a woman, you know what I'm saying, and you see how deceitful he is. You know what I'm saying? You see how he a liar. You see how he trying, you know what I'm saying, take you away from the word of the Most High.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Most of the time, you know what I'm saying, we be like, well, who is this? And why is, you know what I'm saying, why is he bad already? We only 3, you know what I'm saying, chapters in. 3 chapters in and he already bad. You know what I'm saying? And then look at what he doing. You know what I'm saying, man? He trying to deceive kids. Or you know what I'm saying, childlike beings in wisdom and understanding and in the spirit. She got a question.
The Most High is smarter than the bad.
He surely is. She say he's smarter than a bad guy. Hey,
She know the tree that you're talking about. She know him as the bad lion.
The bad.
She just said he's the Most High smarter than the bad lion.
All praises. That's all praise.
Out of the mouth of babes.
Out of the mouth of babes, man. All praises.
Verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
And look, and this can't be talking about no tree, because it ain't no tree out there that you can eat that'll give you, you know what I'm saying, that's called the tree of good good and evil, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This ain't no literal tree that's being talked about here, and as we go on, we'll start to see this not a tree, you know what I'm saying, but it's Satan himself. It's Satan himself, but he's already in a fallen state. He wasn't always referred to as a serpent. He wasn't created a serpent.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Nor was he created to be deceitful. to cause people to break the laws of the Most High. That's just like getting a child to go to go and kill somebody. Like, that'd be low down, wouldn't it? That'd be low down. Getting a child to break the laws of the Most High. That'd be low down. And that's what Satan did. He got them when they was innocent. And that's what he do. He got a track record of getting you while you innocent. Just like after, right after we came out of Egypt and we passed through the Red Sea, we getting ready to get the law, and what happened? Satan came in. Right after you had just been washed pure, Satan comes in and try and get you to sin right then and there. That's how he do it. That's why he a serpent, because he just low down. He ain't got no shame. What you got, bro?
But the same, without now, you got the guys, the drug cartel, the drug guys, they use kids for abuse. Because they're innocent. They won't get the same type of jail or time or something. So, you know, this ain't nothing new under the sun. Same thing going on right today.
You got a question, I'll let you answer. This says, so Satan was the tree of knowledge. That's from Brother Yachanan, Israel.
Yeah, Satan was the tree of knowledge. And that's what we finna get into. We finna get into showing you how he was. The knowledge of good and evil. Because look, it's either this, y'all. It's either the Most High created them like that. You know what I'm saying? But the Most High don't create evil.
Right.
The Most High don't create evil. So how did the tree become good? And I mean good or evil? You know what I'm saying? What was his question again? Say it one more time.
So was Satan the tree of knowledge? What's the tree of knowledge, of the knowledge of good and evil? You know, but yeah, that was Satan, because men are referred to as trees in the garden.
And that's what we finna get into a little Jeremiah 31, Ezekiel 31 and Ezekiel 28, showing you that, you know what I'm saying, the tree.
Right, a figurative tree, not a literal tree.
Exactly.
That's right. And it doesn't mention fruit. It doesn't say apple.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't say anything.
Exactly. So it make you think, like, what really was the fruit? Come on, you know what I'm saying? I believe is what? Is it Hosea 10 and 13? Say the fruit of lies. The fruit of lies. Which she did eat. She ate some lies, didn't she?
Yeah.
She believed some lies.
Slick Willie.
You know what I'm saying? Sick Willie. But that's why he was, you know what I'm saying? That's why he low down and dirty.
Yeah.
Low down and dirty, man, to get an innocent person like that. Because look, now guess what he teaching? He teaching evil. He teaching evil. Come on. He taught them how to break the laws of the the word of the Most High. Come on.
Verse 7. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together, and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of the Most High Yah walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Most High Yah amongst the trees in the garden. And the Most High Yah called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself.
And ain't that how kids are? Man, a child know when when he or she done wrong. You know what I'm saying? Their behavior displays it, and this is what Adam was doing. And that's how you know they was in their innocence. Because he knew he did wrong. He knew I did what you told me not to do, and now the Most High didn't come home. You know what I'm saying? And now he hiding himself. What other reason you hiding? Other than you done did something wrong.
Right.
Come on.
Verse 11. And he said, Who has told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat?
He knew right off the bat what happened. Right off the bat, because he asked. Come on.
And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And the Most High Yah said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
So now you seeing what she's saying? He tricked me.
Seduced.
Yeah, seduced, tricked. You know what I'm saying? Deceived. All of that. You know what I'm saying? And why is he doing this? Why is it division? Why is he going against the Most High? Look, that's what he teaching. He teaching you to go against the Most High. What you got?
And the weaker vessel, which was the woman.
Exactly, went after the weaker vessel. You know what I'm saying? Because look, Satan, I mean, when we start getting into these Ezekiel 28 and Ezekiel 31, you understand, man, Satan, he had wisdom and understanding. You know what I'm saying? He was,
Iniquity was found. Until iniquity was found.
Right, until iniquity was found in him, but he was filled up with wisdom, though. Yeah. He was filled up with wisdom, so man, he knew what he was doing. That's why, again, he's compared to a serpent. Or that's, you know what I'm saying? He's low down.
Exactly.
He's low down. That's why I said you shall go up on your belly.
One of the definitions of a tree in 86 is carpenter. And the carpenter does what? He builds things.
Mm-hmm.
He building his life.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he been doing.
Mm-hmm. The Father of it, child. The Father of it. Where we at?
Verse 14. And the Most High Yah said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field.
So you see what the eating the lies got us? You see what the eating the lies? This wasn't no, because we ate animal meat. This was a fruit of a lie that got us where we got. This the type of eating that got us kicked out of the garden, y'all. Or Adam and Eve kicked out the garden. Come on.
Verse 19.
What'd you say, Tubai?
What you got, Tubai?
Somebody got a question. They said basically saying, Yakan, he asked, so that knowledge will give man life forever. He talking about Genesis 3:22.
He said what?
He asked, would that knowledge give man life forever?
Well, what knowledge? You talking about?
Genesis 3:22.
The knowledge of Genesis 3:22.
And the Lord God said, behold, the man is
We ain't got there yet.
one.
Oh yeah, well, that's why I was gonna say we ain't even got there yet.
Yeah, we'll
We finna
when we
read
get
it.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, we explain. And he asked, would that knowledge in Genesis 3:22 give you?
Man life forever.
He said, so that knowledge would give man life forever? Question mark.
Not to my understanding, but we'll cause right. I mean, once they tripped and got kicked out of the garden, they got that skin, and from that point, you ain't gonna live forever.
Exactly.
Because the corruptible flesh has got to die. But when we were created in the garden, and Adam was created to live forever, you know.
That's talking about the tree of life.
Right.
That's talking about the tree of life, though.
Right, but he's
I don't
saying.
understand his
different tree.
question. I don't
So he's saying
understand.
if he eat off of that tree, he'll live forever?
The tree of life,
Yes.
not the tree of good.
22 explains
It's two different
Oh,
trees.
I see what you're saying.
It's two different trees.
I see what you're saying.
Hey, first explain it.
It's two different trees.
There you go.
Just like I said, one of the definitions of tree was carpenter. Satan is the builder of lies. He's the carpenter of lies.
Right.
Christ is the builder of life.
Life.
you go.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One knowledge is life.
Exactly.
No, I'm talking about my head. You still up?
We go on with that.
Never.
What you got? You know, right? Did that answer his question too, Bob?
That's what I was
I'm
asking.
gonna type it in now.
Yeah, because I
That's a
couldn't.
different tree. That's not Satan, that
Right.
tree right there. That's
Right.
not Satan. That's the tree of life.
Life, not the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Right.
Oh, I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, because I was with you on it. That's why
Right,
I'm like, I don't
I was
understand
on
this
the knowledge
question.
of good and evil. That's the tree of life. Is the question.
Yeah, Iman.
Of course, it was said you're not to eat of the tree, right?
Of the knowledge of good and
Ate
evil.
of the tree. So therefore, they were disobedient because the Father had said you can eat of this one but not that
That
one,
one,
and
yeah.
they were disobedient. Yes?
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, where we at?
Verse 19. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it was thou taken. For dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Unto Adam also and to his wife did the Most High Yah make coats of skin, and clothed them. And the Most High Yah said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hands, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever.
Yeah, now
that's the question.
Yeah, that's the
if he eated the tree of life.
Yeah, the tree of life. Yeah.
Same because when he bit off the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, that tree told him, you bite off that tree right there, you're gonna be like the Most High. The Most High put a block back there. You ain't gonna be able to get to this tree. You know,
Right.
I told you not to know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then you see that the Most High gave them coats of skin and clothed them after they had eaten from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which gave them all form now, you know. Verse 23. Therefore the Most High Yah sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life.
All right, y'all. Now we gonna go to Revelation 12. Revelation 12, 7 through 9.
Sorry, what?
Revelations 12.
7 through 9.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 7.
You know, I was just about to say, Yakanan got another question. He just a little confused. Go ahead, Zeb. I'm sorry.
About what?
We're running
There
late.
are several trees in the garden.
You see the question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just be patient, man. We finna get that right after this scripture. Come on.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 7. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon.
Against the who?
The dragon. And the dragon fought, and his angels. And prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven.
Now when is this happening? When is this taking place? You know what I'm saying? Obviously it was before the earth. Because look, this happening in the heavens. War was in the heavens. Michael and his angels battled the dragon and his angels. And the dragon and his angels lost and was kicked out of heaven. It was no more place found for them. Come on.
Verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out.
He was what?
Cast out.
Uh-huh.
That old serpent.
That old who?
Serpent.
That was in the garden.
Called the devil.
Called the who?
The devil.
Uh-huh.
And Satan.
And look, that's what he's called. That wasn't his name, that's what he was called.
Right.
But notice how it's timed the dragon, because that's gonna come into play, because remember, it said it was no place found for him. What do that mean? Do that mean, you know what I'm saying, was they when they say that was battling in the heavens, right? Do that mean that was like Star Wars and they was going to war and you know what I'm saying? Or was it a planet that they was on? That they was warned in that's in the heavens? Because look, all the planets up there, you go up there to say the planets. You know what I'm saying? So what do it mean when they say, and it was no more place found? Because remember, Christ said, I seen Satan like lightning fall to the earth. Where did he fall from? What you got?
We know that scripture that life is eternal. The everlasting life is eternal. So when that war took place in heaven, or in that spirit realm, that when the old serpent dispelled from where he was, heaven, as you want to call it that, came to earth. By that war being eternal, he came to earth. So that shows that the eternal realm, the spirit realm, is connected to our time zone right now. So the voice spilled from the spirit realm to earth. Satan is the one that was with him, came down and showed man out you want how to make weapons of war.
Yeah.
How to write, all these type of things. They also are going to need when the serpent deceived Eve. We got that phrase, pass the book. So, the Most High got on Adam, and Adam said the woman get it, and then she in turn said the serpent. But all three of them was just that.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Definitely. What would we at?
9, you were in the middle of 9.
Still in 9.
Yep.
Okay.
And that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth.
Into the where?
Into the earth. And his angels were cast out with him.
Okay, come on. Now let's go to Isaiah. Let's go to Ezekiel 28.
What we doing now?
Ezekiel 28.
Ezekiel 28.
Matter of fact, let's do 31 first. 31 first, and then we'll come to 28.
Ezekiel 31.
Yeah. We're gonna start at 1.
Ezekiel chapter 31, verse 1. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the 3rd month, in the 1st day of the month, that the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and to his multitude, whom art thou like in thy greatness?
So look, he's sending Ezekiel to ask the king Pharaoh of Egypt and his multitude, who are you like in your greatness? So he's finna compare him to somebody or something. Come on.
Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon with fair branches.
With what type of branches?
Fair branches.
This talking about a cedar. A cedar is a tree. It says with beautiful branches. Come on.
And with a shadowing shroud.
With a shadowing shroud. So it gave you shade. If you needed shade, this was the spot to go. Come on.
And of a high stature.
Of a high stature. So it stood tall, this tree. It stood tall. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
And its top was among the thick growth boughs.
Mm-hmm.
The waters made him great.
Mm-hmm.
The deep set him up on high with her river, running round about his plants, and set out her little rivers unto all the trees of the field.
And look, this is important when you're reading this because he literally talking about a tree, but it's a spiritual meaning though. He giving you something spiritual, but he comparing it to something physical, like a tree, because of a tree. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like in Psalms 1. You know what I'm saying? Blessed is the man, you know what I'm saying? For he shall be like a tree that's planted by the rivers of water. Water nourish you. Water nourishes you. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
And it said that this was an Assyrian in the beginning, that he's compared to a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 4, the waters made him great, and the deep set him up on high with her rivers running round about her plants.
So this was a tall tree amongst other trees. Come on.
And sent out her little rivers unto all the trees of the field.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, his height was altered.
Was exalted.
His height was exalted above all the trees of the field.
Above all the trees of the field, his height was exalted, meaning he was the tallest out there. And notice it's calling this tree a he. It says he was taller than all the trees out there. Not only that, but he watered the other trees. He watered the other trees. Come on.
And his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of water when he shot forth. All the fowls of heaven made their nest in his boughs. And under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young. And under his shadow dwelt all great nations. Thus was he fair in his greatness, in the length of his branches. For his roots was by great water.
Which made him great, beautiful, man. So beautiful, that's where all the animals wanted to be. All the birds wanted to nest in that tree. All the animals wanted shade under that tree. Even the trees. Because that's from which there was water. Come on.
The cedars in the garden of Yahweh could not hide him.
In the garden of who?
Yahweh.
What's the garden of Yahweh, y'all?
Eden.
The Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
This talking about trees that were in the Garden of Eden, but look, he's comparing it to Pharaoh and his likeness. Who are you like? Is this a literal tree that he talking about? Because we just got out of Genesis and it didn't sound like no literal tree. But let's keep reading because he gonna give you the understanding. Come on.
The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of Yahweh was like unto him in his beauty.
In his what?
In his beauty.
In his beauty, man. He was this tree or this angel was beautiful.
I was just telling her that the car wears.
All praises. Come on.
I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden,
all the trees of what?
All the trees of Eden that were in the garden of Yahweh envied him.
Envied him. Come on.
Therefore, thus says the Most High Yahweh, because thou hast lifted up thyself in height, and he has shot up his top among the thick boughs, and his heart is lifted up in his height. I have therefore delivered him into the hand of the mighty one of the heathen. He shall surely deal with him. I have driven him out for his wicked.
And look, he talking to both. He talking both to the king of Egypt And he talking to Satan as well, because that's who he comparing Pharaoh to. He comparing Pharaoh to Satan, who was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil in the garden. See, Satan, he telling you, Satan was beautiful. Satan looked magnificent, man. He had all the wisdom. You know what I'm saying? He was above all the other trees in the garden. You know, he watered them and everything, man. He watered them and everything.
He was anointed.
Yeah, he was anointed. That's what he's going to tell you in Ezekiel 28. He was anointed. You know, come on.
Verse 12. The strangers and the terrible of the nations have cut him off and have left him upon the mountains and in all the valleys his branches are fallen, and his boughs are broken by all the rivers of the land. And all the people of the earth are gone down from his shadow and have left him. Upon his ruin shall the fowls of heaven remain, and all the beasts of the field shall be upon his branch, to the end that none of all the trees by the waters exalt themselves for their height, neither shoot up their top among the thick boughs, neither their trees stand up in their height. All that drink water, for they are all delivered unto death, to the neither part of the earth, in the midst of the children of men, with them that go down to the pit.
And look, he explained it to you, man, like how pride comes before destruction. Look how proud, how arrogant Satan was, that it said that he lifted up himself above the other trees. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He lifted up. He thought that because he was beautiful and he had wisdom, you know what I'm saying? It started getting to his head.
Right.
It started getting to his head.
So, here in chapter 31, verse 3, it talks about the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon. So, he's likening the Assyrian, who was a great person, compared to this big cedar tree, but it was an evil cedar tree.
Yeah, what he doing is he comparing the king of Egypt to Satan in his glory, because look, when you read at the bottom of when you read verse 2, he telling the prophet Ezekiel, son of man, speak unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and to his multitude. So to the people that follow him, the people that follow King Pharaoh, and the people that follow him, it says, whom art thou like in thy greatness? And look, he go down breaking off to him about a tree, a cedar tree, who rose up above the other cedar trees, who watered them. All the animals wanted to be either under its shade or make its home in its branches. You know what I'm saying? But then the Lord started talking about how, you know what I'm saying, this cedar tree, how he was going to punish it because of what it was doing, because pride was found in him.
Okay, so this is
He really talking about Satan. He's comparing, to Satan. He telling you, because remember it said this was in the garden of God, in the garden of Eden. You know what I'm saying? We just got done reading Genesis chapter 3, and these trees, these weren't regular trees. They were really angels. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they were angels. Oftentimes in the Bible, you'll read, like when you get into Judges, the 11th chapter, a man had a vision and he was like, I see men as trees. And he compared men to trees. Or you get into like Mark 8, you know, the Messiah did a miracle, and he opened the man's eyes and he asked him, what did you see? And he said, I see man as trees. You know what I'm saying? So, or you get into like, I believe it's Zechariah. Zechariah had a vision about olive trees. You know what I'm saying? Which were angels. You know what I'm saying? So when you go and you understand the book of Genesis, you understand that these are not literal trees. These are angels being spoken of. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about Satan and what he was before he became Satan, because he wasn't always Satan. Before he became Satan, he was a beautiful angel. He was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? But he got taken away in his beauty because beauty can be deceitful.
Oh, yes.
It can lift you up. It can make you prideful. If you went to yourself like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened. Man, he got beside himself because of his beauty and because of his wisdom. You know, because knowledge will puff you up. Yeah, knowledge will puff you up. Where we at, bro?
Hey, bro, that question.
Oh, yeah.
What?
I'm thinking about David also that he guarded over the stone.
Huh?
He guarded over the 12 stones that represented the 12 tribes of Israel. And he guarded them. And not only that, he got beside himself, like you were saying, only because
Shabbat Shalom, nerve.
Shabbat Shalom, nerve.
The Heavenly Father made Adam from dirt, dark mud, and he had other messengers and angels who bowed down to Adam. Satan didn't want to do that. He felt like because he was made from fire, and he was better in Adam, because Adam was made dirt. Therefore, he felt like that the Most High had walked in, lose his mind for making this creature out of mud, the other messengers and all bowed down to him. That's how that war started. He wanted to take the place of the Most High and lift his throne higher than the Most High.
Yeah, that's what we finna get into too in Isaiah chapter 14. Yeah, Isaiah chapter 14. So finish reading that Hebrew.
Verse 15. No.
Yeah, you would have right there.
That where it was?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Verse 15. Thus said the Most High Yahweh, in the day when he went down to the grave, I called the mourning. I covered the deep for him, and I restrained the floods thereof, and the great waters were stayed. And I caused Lebanon to mourn for him, and all the trees of the field fainted for him. I made the nations to shake at the sound of his fall. When I cast them down to hell with them that descended into the pit. And all the trees of Eden, the choice and the best of Lebanon, all that drank water, shall be comforted in the nether parts of the earth. They also went down into hell with him unto them that be slain with the sword. And they that were his own, that dwelt under his shadow in the midst of the heathen, to whom art thus like in the glory and in greatness among the trees of Eden.
Among the trees of what?
Eden.
Look, these either like literal trees or, you know what I'm saying, it's something else that he's speaking on, because what tree that, you know what I'm saying, they got men that do, you know what I'm saying, that got a multitude of men. None. He's drawing a comparison here. Come on.
Yet shalt thou be brought down with the trees of Eden unto the nether parts of the earth.
Talking about Satan and his angels. This how Pharaoh and his army gonna be brought down to the same spot, the same lake of fire or Tophet that was created for Satan and his angels. Everybody that follows Satan and his angels and want to be like them will receive the same reward. Come on.
To whom art thou thus like in glory and in greatness among the trees of Eden? Yet shalt thou be brought down with the trees of Eden into the nether parts of the earth. Thou shalt lie in the midst of the uncircumcised with them that be slain by the sword. This is Pharaoh and all his multitude, said the Most High Yah.
Now let's hit 28. To show you further, man, that this angel that was in the Garden of Eden, it was none other than Satan. Because you remember when Eve looked at him, she seen that he was wise. And he was one to be desired. You get what I'm saying?
28. Where you want to start?
We'll start in verse.
Yes, sir.
No, we're gonna start in verse 1. Yeah, Ezekiel
Verse 1.
28, yeah, verse 1.
All right, family, we're going to be reading in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28, and we'll start the reading in verse 1. Let's get some understanding, family. The word of the Most High came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Most High Yah, because thine heart is lifted, and thou hast said, I am Yah.
I am who?
I am Yah. I sit in the seat of Yah, in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man, and not Yah. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of Yah.
So y'all see what he did? The king of Tyre trying to make himself God. He trying to make himself God. Come on.
Verse 3. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thine treasure. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore, thus saith the Most High Yah, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of Yah. Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am Yah?
So look what he asking the question. You know what I'm saying? He asking the king of Tyre, or you gonna tell those that's finna get ready to kill you, I'm God.
Off with his head.
Right, off with his head.
Verse 3, you know, Daniel came out of Solomon did.
Yeah.
Right? So the Most High told him he wiser than Daniel. He didn't say nothing about
Solomon.
So he compared Satan wisdom to Daniel.
Well, nah, he ain't even start talking about Satan. This still talking about the king of Tyre. He talking about the king of Tyre.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? He said you more wiser than Daniel. You know what I'm saying? He said there is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into the treasuries. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore thus saith the Lord God, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God, behold, therefore will I bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nation. So you see, he's still talking to them, but he's finna get ready to draw a comparison to the king of Tyre, though. Come on.
Verse 9 again. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am Yah? But thou shalt be a man, and no God, in the hand of him that slayeth thee. Thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers. For I have spoken it, saith the Most High Yah.
So you see what he did? He just pronounced judgment on them because you let gold and silver pervert you. You know what I'm saying? You thought you was me. You thought you was gonna elevate to my throne. Who that sound like? Exactly. Now watch this though. Come on.
Verse 11. Moreover, the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus.
And the lamentation, that's not something good. That's weeping. That's when you weeping for somebody.
Right. Lamenting.
Yeah, you lamenting at this point. It says basically lament for the king of Tyre. Like the book of Lamentations, that was Jeremiah weeping for what was going on with Israel. So now he telling Ezekiel to weep for him. Come on.
And say unto him, Thus saith the Most High Yah, Thou sealest up the sun, full of wisdom, and perfect in beauty.
So you see that? Look, he telling the king of Tyre, you seal up. I mean, you thou sealest up the sum full of wisdom, meaning he's a very wise person, being compared to Daniel. You know what I'm saying? And it says perfect in beauty. Come on.
Verse 13. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of Yah.
But see, that's the problem, because the king of Tyre was never there. The king of Tyre was never in a garden of Eden. So who is he comparing him to? The same tree that we were just reading about in Ezekiel 31, Satan. Because Satan was the angel of the knowledge of good and evil. Come on.
Every precious stone was thy covering. The sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created.
And see, he talking about his beauty, and he talking about how he had a voice. He could sing. You know what I'm saying? That's why in the movie Lucifer, you see him owning a
club.
Yeah, a club. You know what I'm saying? Satan is always associated with music. You see what I'm saying? Come on.
Verse 14. Thou art the anointed cherub.
Thou art what?
The anointed cherub that covered.
And when you look up cherub or cherubim, it's the same. It was the same type of angel that was put to guard to be a guard from the tree of life. What you got?
I got a question. In the scripture, what type of people were anointed in the scripture?
Sure, you had David anointed.
That was a king, right?
Yeah, he was a king. You had the Messiah anointed.
King, right?
Well, you had Cyrus, yeah, he was a king. Well, David was anointed to be king, but at the time he wasn't king. He didn't sit on the throne of Israel.
Now, once you get anointed to be king, right?
Not necessarily. It just means you was chosen by the Most High. Come on.
Verse 14. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth.
So you see this an angel. Come on.
And I have set thee so.
What? Read that again, my bad.
And I have set thee so.
Letting you know that the Most High gave Satan this position as a covering cherub.
Right.
I gave you this position. Come on.
That was upon the holy mountain of Yah. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire.
So you see that he was saying you was on the mountain of Yah. Come on. Verse
15. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created, till iniquity was found in thee.
Until iniquity was found in who?
In thee.
Letting you know that it didn't come from without, it came from within. That's why I tell you it's no head above the head of a serpent. You know what I'm saying? Satan is the father of lies. You know what I'm saying? That's what this word all started. That's why I calls him the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Come on.
Verse 16. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore, I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of Yah, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire.
From the midst of the other angels. I'm going to destroy you. That's what he's telling Satan, the one that was in the garden, for doing what he did, because it was low down. Low down and ashamed what he did. Come on.
Verse 17. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. All they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror and never shall thou be any more.
So you see that he pronouncing judgment on both the king of Tyre and Satan at the same time. Both at the same time. And he telling them it's for the same reasons. Y'all both got puffed up in y'all beauty. You know what I'm saying? And in your riches and in your wisdom. You know what I'm saying? You let that get you out of character, and now you going against the Most High. That's why he said you corrupted your wisdom. You corrupted it. Because now you teaching wicked wisdom. That's you teaching somebody how to be wise on the wicked side.
Gnosticism.
All right, now we're finna go to Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14.
We want to start in that,
Verse 14.
14.
14, yep. 14, no, 12, my bad. 12.
14, 12.
Can you just read one right quick? What he's saying.
All right, family, we're going to be reading in the book of Isaiah, chapter 14. We'll start the reading at verse 1, and then we'll jump down to 12. Everybody there? Let's get some, family. For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Now we'll jump down to verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?
Where he fall from?
From heaven, O Lucifer.
And look, when they say falling from heaven, I mean, what do that mean? Where was he at in the heavens? Where was he at?
He was under the throne of God.
He was under the throne of God, but I mean, what do that mean? He was just floating up under the throne? Like if I'm sitting on the throne, somebody just floating under me? Huh? He was covering the throne like he was up there with God covering the throne?
Covering?
Nah, not covering. Nah, not like that. We're finna see because remember, he said, I'm gonna go up there.
He was under the throne.
Come on.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yah.
And notice this talking about Lucifer, Satan before he fell.
Right.
Before he started being called the dragon, the serpent, the devil, and Satan. You know what I'm saying? And things like this. This is what he was called before that, Lucifer.
That was your son of the morning, bro.
Right, son of the morning. Or the bright, or the
morning star.
Yeah, the morning star. Come on.
I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation.
I will sit where?
Upon the mount of the congregation.
Talking about the mountain of God. The mountain of God that was just spoken about in Ezekiel. Come on.
In the sides of the north.
In the sides of the north. Come on, that's the pinnacle of the earth. That's the top of earth. Come on.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
The same thing that the king of Tyre said.
It is.
Got that big head.
Look, and it's talking about Lucifer. It's talking about Lucifer. So now when you read this, you understand what we was reading when it was talking about trees to answer that brother's question. Now you understand what it was talking about, the trees in a garden. You know what I'm saying? And how he comparing it to Tyre. You know what I'm saying? Because the king of Tyre said this same thing. He said, and the Lord said, since you want to say you like me, I'm gonna bring other nations against you. And you tell me when they finna get ready to slay you, or you gonna tell them you God. Because guess what? They gonna slay you anyway. But look, that's where he get this from. That's who he comparing the king of Tyre to. You know what I'm saying? This ain't nothing new. This already been done. The same spirit that you moving in is the same, is the spirit of Satan and the devil, or Lucifer. Come on.
Verse 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
Talking about Tophet. He casting Satan in a lake of fire when it's all said and done. And it was created for him and his angels because since they supernatural, they have to die a supernatural death.
Breaking them on the sides.
Right, he don't even get the good seeds. He got to get up against the wall. Verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof?
You see that? Look, there it go again. Saying, made the world as a wilderness. That's what it was in Genesis 1 and 2. When it became without form and without void. So you see who caused that. Because what would cause the Lord to destroy the whole world? Yeah, he telling you what he did. And this ain't the first time it happened, because then he had to do the same thing with Noah because Satan got in. But just this time he didn't destroy it all. Come on.
That opened not the house of the prisoners, all the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house.
And look, you understand?
Wouldn't choke yourself, boy, didn't you?
Yeah, hold on. Look, and all the kingdoms are up under Satan's control anyway. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, how could he offer it to the Messiah if he bowed down and worship him?
The earth was handed to the wicked.
Exactly. The earth was it was given into the hands of the wicked. You know what I'm saying? So, you see why it was destroyed during Noah's time, and it was destroyed for the same exact thing before Adam and Eve. I don't know what type of supernatural stuff was going on, but the Most High had to wipe it out. He had to wipe it out. Come on, I'm talking about and leave no traces of it. Come on.
Not even a thought. You don't even want that thought to come back in our head.
But look, it's still stuff there though to remind you, to let you know, you know what I'm saying, he is who he say he is. You know what I'm saying? Because what we finna get into now is we finna get into where Satan came from. Where he came from when he said it was no spot left for him in heaven to go, so he was cast down to the earth. But where was he before he came to the earth? Because he wasn't just aimlessly wandering around in space or in the heavens. Come on.
Verse 19. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden underfoot.
All right, look, we can hold that there. Now we finna get
getting good. Boy.
Oh, well, you can keep going then.
Yeah, we read this on but a few more. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, saith the Most High of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name, and remnant, and son, and nephew, saith the Most High. I will also make it a possession for the bitter, and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith the Most High of hosts. The Most High of hosts hath sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass, and as I have purposed, so shall it stand, that I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread him underfoot. Then shall his yoke depart from off them, and his burden depart from off their shoulders. This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth. And this is the hand that is stretched out upon the nations.
All nations.
All the nations. For the Most High of hosts hath purposed, and who shall disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? In the year that the king Ahaz died was this burden. Rejoice not thou, whole Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken. For out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice, and his fruit shall be a fiery flying serpent. And the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety. And I will kill thy root with famine, and he shall slay thy remnant. Howl, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestina art dissolved, for there shall come from the north a smoke, and none shall be alone in his appointed time. What shall one then answer the messengers of the nation? That the Most High hath founded Zion, and the poor of his people shall trust in it.
I'll pray.
Yes, sir.
So now what I want to show is where Satan came from when he was kicked out of the heavens. And in order to do that, first I gotta explain a couple things, mainly dealing with the planets. I ain't gonna get too deep into it because there's already a class out there that go more in depth into it. It's called Law of the Celestial Realms by Daniel Solomon. He go into detail about, you know what I'm saying, the planets and all of that stuff. So if y'all find this interesting, y'all can go and watch those 2 videos. There's 2 of them that he did, and check it out. But first we're gonna start off with Job chapter 9. Job chapter 9. And we're gonna take a look at, you know what I'm saying, what the Bible called the planets and the, you know what I'm saying, the star systems and things like that. Get into the celestial realms because look, it's things out there that, you know, that scientists they just can't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like what happened is the only thing that can come up with theories and theories and guessing. You know what I'm saying? Theories and guessing, but you know what I'm saying? The Bible tells you straight up what happened. You know, and some of what they say line up with the Bible, and you know, some of it don't. But let's check this out though, y'all. Job chapter 9, verse 9. Yeah, let me see. Matter of fact, you could start at 1. Huh?
What you starting at 1? What you starting at?
Job chapter 9, verse 1. Then Job answered and said, I know it is so of a truth, but how should man be just with Yahweh? If he would contend with him, he could not answer him 1 of 1,000.
So you see that? Job asking, how can a man contend with God? And Job let you know, because if the Most High asks you a question, you ain't gonna be able to answer not one of them. Come on.
Verse 4, he is wise in heart and mighty in strength. Who hath hardened himself against him and hath prospered? Which removeth the mountains, and they know not, which overturneth them in his anger.
He overturned them when?
In his anger. Which shaketh the earth.
Which do what?
Which shaketh the earth out of her place.
And that's what was happening in the beginning. When you remember when Jeremiah said, and I beheld the earth, and it was without form and void. He said, in the mountains they trembled, and the hills moved. That's what it's telling you. You know what I'm saying? Who can contend with that? Nobody. Not even Satan. Satan can't even do it. Come on.
Which shaketh the earth out of her place, and the pillars thereof tremble. Imagine these two pillars trembling right here.
Just trembling.
What's gonna happen with all this other stuff up there?
It's gonna cave.
Run!
And that's what that's what happened in the beginning. He is explaining to you. You know what I'm saying? At his anger, man, the earth will shake. And if the earth shake, man, that's gonna cause some chaos.
Yeah.
That's gonna cause some chaos, man. It's gonna be floods. It's gonna be all type of natural disasters and stuff, kind of like what you're seeing now. All type of madness. And they said it was all at his anger. Come on.
Verse 7, which commanded the sun, and it rises not.
And it do what?
And it rises not. And sealeth up the stars.
And do what?
Sealeth up the stars. Which alone spreadeth out the heaven, and treadeth upon the waves of the sea.
Come on.
Which maketh
Arcturus,
Orion, Pallades, and the chambers of the south.
See, this talking about the universe, y'all. It's talking about the universe. How you pronounce it?
Arcturus.
Orion. Pleiades, which is the 7 stars, and when you get into Enoch, it's actually talking about 7 planets that wander. Because every other star is fixed in the sky, stay exactly what it is at. But the 7 planets, they move or they wander, and they're called stars. These are the big stars. When you get into like what is it? Acts 14, Acts the 14th chapter. You know what I'm saying? They was worshiping Paul and Barnabas as Jupiter and Mercury. They worship these planets as gods. And Satan himself, he was a god over a planet. Come on. Oh, my bad. Amos chapter 5, verse 8.
Are you done?
Yeah, done with it. My bad. That's why you sitting there like
that's why I look back there, I'm like, we still reading?
Where you going to, Ox?
Yeah, we just gonna hit verse 8. Hit verse 8.
Of what?
Amos chapter 5. Unless Zeb wanna go up. Zeb be doing.
I'm just back here being a spectator.
Zeb be Zeb like, can we start this?
Well, I don't know. When we get there first, we might.
Cool.
We might.
We can start at 8 or wherever y'all wanna start at.
Nate, I have a
We
question.
at 5 today.
You got a question on that, Turner?
Yes, man. Let's eat my ball.
We were talking recently about the 10th planet. Since you were talking about this.
Yeah, well.
But they were talking about that in the 10th planet and how they know that it's cloaked. It's cloaked in red, red cloud, so they couldn't see it very well. But it's soon to come into the galaxy, into our galaxy. It's over here. And they're talking about the coming. But without saying that they're talking about the coming of the Most High, they're talking about it. So preparing people today to, one of the scientists said, he said, what can we do because it's about to be all these floods. It's still not telling them about the judgment. It says, what are we going to do? Because all of these floods are going on. And everybody wants to go to the highest of the mountains, but they're volcanoes. And they're going to be digging into the, a lot of them have underground caves that they're going into. If there's a flood, how are you going to get away from underground floods? But anyway, story for another time. And so they were saying that, and one of the scientists said, he said, I would get my house in order. That's all he said. He said he's a scientist, and they asked what would he recommend. He said, everybody, I would recommend that you get your house in order.
Well, let's hope he meant by getting his house in order with the Most High.
Nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide.
Right.
Get yourself right on the inside.
What you say?
You got a question, man.
No time's up.
Sister Debbie asks in Isaiah 14:16, is Lucifer a man or angel?
Lucifer is an angel, but just like in the previous two scriptures we read, the Most High was talking to a man, but he was talking to Satan at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Comparing whoever he was speaking on, whether it was the king of Egypt, the king of Babylon, or the king of Tyre, which were all had the same spirit that Satan had. So he was it was dual. It was like he was talking to two different people at the same time. Y'all both committed the same crime, and this is gonna be the judgment.
He's talking to you, but he's talking to the spirit.
That's
moving you also.
man, excellent way to put it, man. Excellent way to put it. Yes, that's exactly what he was doing. If that make any sense, did that answer our question?
Yeah.
He ain't said nothing.
Yeah, she didn't say anything. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we can keep.
Nah, he should be all right. Call me if you ain't get it, bro. Amos chapter 5, verse 8. So did we say we were going there?
Shit, man, shoot. Or 6. You can go to 6 if you want to.
Okay, that's a good one. I'll go there. Okay. Amos chapter 5, verse 6. Seek the Most High, and ye shall live, lest he break out like a fire in the house of Joseph, and devour it, and there be none to quench it in Bethel. Ye who turn judgment to wormwood, and leave off righteousness in the earth. Seek him that maketh the 7 stars and Orion.
That maketh what?
The 7 stars and Orion.
Or how you pronounce that? Pleiades? Pleiades. When you look up the word Pleiades, it means 7 stars. And whenever you see Pleiades, it'll always be, and you always see things like Orion mentioned behind or before it.
On Paramount, them 7 stars that go around the top of them when the Paramount movie come on. Yeah.
That symbolize.
That's Pleiades.
Or actually, is really is the planets, what they call the planets.
Right.
When you get into the Book of Enoch, the planets are often called wandering stars. You know what I'm saying? And men often worship them. Like I was saying, you'll read about in Acts chapter 14. They looked at Paul and Barnabas as gods, and they said Barnabas, I believe, was Jupiter, and was Mercury, and Paul was Jupiter. You know what I'm saying? And they worshipped it, and they looked at them like a god. You know what I'm saying? Letting you know that, you know what I'm saying, they worship the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets.
We still doing it with zodiac signs.
Exactly. You're still doing it with zodiac signs. But that's why he said when he bring destruction, all of that is gone. Like in Genesis 1, that's why Jeremiah said, and the heavens had no light. Because he knocked all of that out. So he had to recreate the sun, the moons, and the stars to give light onto the earth for Adam and Eve. But look, it's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again. When he coming back, he knocking all of it out, ain't he? And he destroying the heaven. Just like it was destroyed before Adam and Eve. That's why he had to recreate the firmament or the heaven. Where we at?
Verse 8. Seek him that maketh the 7 stars and Orion, and turneth the shadow of death into morning, and maketh the day of dark with night, and calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. The Elohim is his name.
Elohim is his name. So look, I want to get one more, and then I want to talk about the planet Satan came from. Job 38:1.
Job chapter 38, verse 1.
Nah, my bad.
Yeah, we read that.
Verse 31. Verse 31.
Verse 31?
Yeah.
Job chapter
38,
38, verse 31.
Job chapter 38, verse 31. Canst thou bind the sweet influence of Palladium, or lose the bands of Orion? Canst thou bring forth Meseroth in his season, or canst thou guide Arcturus
That's right.
with his son? Knowest thou that the ordinance of heaven?
Knowest thou the ordinances of heaven?
Knowest thou the ordinance of heaven? Canst thou set the dominion thereof in the earth?
So look, notice what he asking him. He asking Job about heavenly things. Can you bind the sweet influences of Pleiades? You know what I'm saying? Can you direct the planets? Can you influence them? You know what I'm saying? Can you influence the 7 stars? Or can you know what I'm saying, loose the bands of Orion?
That's the Orion belt around the earth, that radiation belt.
Meaning
that
can you...
Even NASA say they can't get past it. They say they've been to the moon.
And look, and what he's saying...
How can you do both?
And what he's saying...
You can get past it or you can't.
Right. And look, what he's saying is, what he asking is, can you undo the universe? Can you loose the bands like you will loose the belt, your belt buckle? He saying, can you undo it? You know what I'm saying? Or can you call Maseroth in his season or Orticus and guide him and his sons?
When they took that little phallus up there in the earth lab a couple weeks ago, why they ain't go all the way up to Orion's belt?
They can't.
And boy, he upset.
I'm just saying, that's what it looked like.
But yeah, he letting Job know, man, you can't, look, he explaining to Job that, you know what I'm saying, you can't control none of these things that's in the heavens. Can you do it? Knowest thou the ordinances of heaven? How it operate, how the sun, how it go from the east to the west every day. It rises in the east and sets in the west. You know what I'm saying? Come on. All right, where we at?
Where's 33?
Go on.
Oh, y'all crazy.
Where we at, 33?
Yeah, 33.
Knowest thou the ordinances of heaven? Canst thou set the dominion thereof in the earth? Canst thou lift up thy voice to the clouds, that abundance of waters may cover thee? Canst thou send lightnings, that they may go and say unto thee, here we are? Who hath put wisdom in the inward part? Or hath given understanding to the heart? Who can number the clouds in wisdom? Or who can stay the bottles of heaven? When the dust grow up into hardness, and the clouds cleave fast together, wilt thou hunt the prey for the lion? Or fill the appetite of the young lions? When they couch in their dens, and abide in the covert to lie in wait? Who provided for the raven his food? When his young ones cry unto Yahweh, they wonder for lack of meat.
So now look, I want to take a look at one of these 7 planets. The 7th planet that was called Rahab, not the harlot.
That's it.
Rahab, not the harlot, y'all. We're going to take a quick look at that right quick and show you, you know what I'm saying, what happened to the plane that Satan ruled over. So we're going to go to, let's start off in Job 26. Job 26.
You got another question too, Art.
What's the other question?
What's the question too, By?
Okay.
Job, who's 26?
26, hold on.
Okay.
But there was we got a brother or sister here who's confused about Isaiah 14 and 19. I hope Isaiah 14 and 19 might be explained. Was Lucifer cast out of the grave and thrust through with his sword? What?
That's the question.
Isaiah 14, 19.
Now, what they were saying was that Satan.
It says, what it say out?
What you laughing at?
This
Isaiah
with
14 and 19.
14 and
explains.
Yeah.
May it be explained. Was Lucifer cast out of the grave and thrust through with a sword? I look the same way, man. I look the same way.
Like, I don't think I get the question.
Right.
Right, like he.
But he's fire, so you can't put a sword through fire.
Exactly.
Ask him, I mean.
Read 14 and 19.
I read it
You
again.
got started like 13.
Yeah. I thought I explained it
That's
though.
what it is,
That's
baby.
why I said it was a little confusing there.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta, when you read it, you'll start understanding when he's talking about Satan and when he's talking about the king of Babylon.
Isaiah 14 and 19, it says, but thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch. And as the raiment of those that are slain thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass tread under feet.
Trodden.
Trodden under feet.
He's just saying that's what you like.
Right, you didn't say
That's what you like.
Yeah, that's about
You know what I'm
it
saying?
is.
But I mean, he talking about Satan and the king of Babylon. He telling them this is what you like. This is what your end is gonna be. Like a man thrust through.
Yeah, because in 13 he says, I will ascend unto heaven. So right there he talking about Satan.
And he's just talking about his end. What's the end of both of them? If y'all understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Huh? Yeah, the end is the pit. The end is the pit for both of them. You know what I'm saying?
Lake of fire.
Because then in verse 20 you go on to talk about
say
it.
you won't be joined in them in burial.
And that's what I'm saying. It's talking about the death.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The end of all of them is the lake of fire. Come on, because Satan can't die no little. I mean, Satan, you ain't finna bury. Where you gonna bury Satan at?
And how you gonna stab him?
Yeah, and how you gonna stab him?
You know what I mean?
Huh?
Verse 15 is where he says he's casting them into hell, and the rest of the verses are just
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he just explained
That's
what
why I
it's gonna
said
be.
you got to go back to 13 to start reading that.
Yeah.
And you will get the
And right, that's what I'm saying. You just have to know. You have to realize, like in Ezekiel 28 and Ezekiel 30, who he's talking to, because he comparing these kings, these three different kings, all to Satan for a reason. You know what I'm saying? For a reason, and something. Yeah, it'll start explaining itself.
Because in verse 12 he say, "Oh Lucifer, son of the morning."
But then when you jump down, they start talking about Babylon. I mean, the king of Babylon. So it's like you just have to read and you will see who he's talking about, and you know what I'm saying? It'll make perfect sense because Satan can't get thrust through or nothing like that. So
it's likening him to those men. Yeah. But yeah, you can't stab him.
Yeah. I hope that gave us some understanding, or him some understanding.
You say that people start thinking they can pull their guns on Satan. No.
That was a trick question at first. Why did you read
Right.
Everybody says.
Just tell them to go back and read. I think that's
I mean, you read
Yeah, if she start reading it like 12, 11, something like that, you can get the gist of the whole thing.
Alright, we could Job 26. We can start about verse 4.
No, it's still on me. It's still on me.
Huh?
No, it's on me.
Because you just confused me with that.
I know, I confused myself with that one. We're going to be going into the book of Job, chapter 26. And we'll start that at 1 hour, because we're starting at 4.
That's fine.
3, 6, 4.
Yeah, we're going to start at 1. The book of Job, chapter 26 and verse 1. Get my bookmark. But Job answered and said, how hast thou helped him that is without power? How savest thou the arm that hath no strength? How hast thou counseled him that hath no wisdom? And how hast thou plentifully declared the thing as it is? To whom hast thou uttered words, and whose spirit came from thee? Dead things are formed from under the waters, and the inhabitants thereof. Hell is naked before him, and destruction hath no covering. He stretcheth out the north over the empty place, and hangeth the earth upon nothing. He bindeth up the waters in his thick clouds, and the cloud is not rent under them. He holdeth back the faces of his throne, or the face of his throne, and spreadeth his cloud upon it. He hath compassed the waters with bounds, until the day and night come to an end. The pillars of heaven tremble, and are astonished at his reproof. He divideth the sea with his power, and by his understanding he smiteth through the proud.
He smiteth through what?
Through the proud.
Come on.
By his spirit he hath garnished the heavens. His hand hath formed the crooked serpent.
Have formed the who?
The crooked serpent.
Talking about Satan. You know what I'm saying? Or he'll often be often referred to as Leviathan in the scriptures. He compared Satan to Leviathan a lot. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he's saying here. He formed the crooked serpent. Come on.
Verse 14. Lo, these are parts of his ways, but how little a portion is heard of him. But the thunder of his power, who can understand?
And look, understand when he say he smiteth through the proud, when you look up the proud, that word right there means Rahab. You know what I'm saying? And when we finna get into these other scriptures, the scripture's gonna tell you he shattered Rahab in pieces. Let's go to Psalms 89. And you'll also notice that this that Rahab often be connected to the serpent a lot in scriptures. Let me see. Verse 8. I don't know what I say. My bad. What you laughing at, Z? Nah, 9 and 10.
9 and 10?
Yeah.
We're going to be reading in the book of Psalms, chapter 89. We're going to read verses 9 and 10 for your listening enjoyment. Everybody there? The book of Psalms, chapter 89 and verse 10. Well, let's do 9 first. How about that? Thou rulest the raging of the sea. Then the waves thereof arise. Thou stillest them. Thou hast broken Rahab in pieces.
He did what?
Broken Rahab in pieces.
The Lord said he broke Rahab in pieces. And look, you could Google it right now, biblical Rahab. And make sure it's not talking about the harlot, but that's what it started explaining to you, a planet. But a planet that was destroyed. He said he did what to Rahab? Verse
broken
10.
Rahab in pieces.
Broken Rahab in pieces. He talking about destroying a planet into pieces. And look, when you look up the asteroid belt, scientists are saying that this once should have been a planet. Right where the asteroid belt at, it should be a planet that's blown into pieces. How ironic that the Bible was talking about a planet that was blown into pieces. Come on.
As one that is slain, thou hast scattered thine enemies with thy strong arm.
And look, and when you look up Rahab, it means pride, arrogancy, or the water serpent. What often Satan was referred to, the serpent. Come on, let's go to Isaiah 51. Isaiah 51. This planet that he was on was destroyed because of the wickedness that was going on there, and then Satan was cast to the earth. He was cast to the earth because guess what? His planet was destroyed and there was nowhere else for him to go. That's why the Messiah said, I seen Satan fall like lightning to the earth.
Okay. Isaiah 51 and 1.
Isaiah 51, and we gonna hit 9, y'all, and then we closing out.
51 and 9. It's on my brother.
On you?
You, sir.
On you? If I go, we're going back to 1. Isaiah chapter 51, verse 9.
The great city has fallen.
Isaiah chapter 51, verse 9. Awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of the Most High. Awake as in the ancient days.
In what days?
In the ancient days. In the generations of old.
In the ancient days and in the generations of old, y'all. These not talking about, you know what I'm saying? This talking about before Adam, because it's saying ancient. What's ancient to a man? What type of days are ancient to a man? You know what I'm saying? How long would he had to have been around for it to be considered ancient? Because shoot, what, 6,000 years ago, pretty ancient to us. But he telling the arm of the Lord to wake up as in ancient days. Come on.
Art thou not it that had cut Rahab?
They have done what?
The dragon.
They did what to Rahab?
Cut Rahab and wounded the dragon.
This talking about Satan and his planet. How it was destroyed, and then Satan was cut down to the earth. Like it said in Isaiah 14. How has thou been cut down to the earth? Or how hast thou fallen from heaven? Understand? So shoot, with that, man, I hope y'all got some understanding today. All praises to the Most High.
All praise.
Hey, did they say anything else out there too, Bob? I mean, whoever had that question.
Nah, they didn't say nothing.
No, they ain't say nothing.
They ain't say.
I asked them if that answered their question. I ain't heard nothing else.
Oh, okay. What you got, LC? It was called Earth Without Form and Void. All right, with that, shoot, you got a song, Hebrew?
Yes, sir. We've got plenty of those. Let me pick one.
One I was looking at earlier. I forgot what it was. I think it was 12.
You want that 12 lock? We'll get that.
Ezra, I looked up Rahab is the official Hebrew name of the planet Neptune.
There we go.
Well, it's a planet, but it ain't Neptune, though.
But that's what they got.
Yeah, that's what they got it for. Yeah.
They don't want you to know it's destroyed. They want you to think it's still there. To cause confusion.
Right. Money got two names now.
Well, that's what they say, but the Bible.
Now they saying one missing. That's Pluto.
Well, they said Pluto wasn't a planet a couple years ago. They changed that. The bottom line is they ain't been past no Orion belt.
What you got to about?
The sister that asked the question, Debbie, she has come in and said, thank you, just confused. I will read it again. I did exactly what her said. This is just that she read it Isaiah 14 again.
Cool. All right, shoot. You got the songs?
Yes, sir. We can get it. Let's call it out.
Oh, thank you, Imai. Huh? Man, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You got to quit.
I said one more thing before we end. Just want to tell the family, send up prayers.
It's back on.
Oh, yes. Okay. No, it's not.
Oh, you knocked it off while doing that?
Yep.
Come listen to Bigfoot.
Ain't from that Bigfoot family.
Hey, too bad you did.
Hold on. Let me check the live.
It don't look like we there. Oh yeah, it went down. With your face dead in the picture.
Move forward, bro. Move forward.
Be careful.
It's over with now.
Wait, we got somebody back.